and prayers. Hey, Kautuk, Hare Krishna, thank you for coming. And then we can get started momentarily. So we'll start off with our usual Mangalacharan prayers, and then we can get started. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhobhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. With that, I welcome Nina, Chitra, and I'm so happy that you are here. Just give me a minute. I just wanted to confirm, are you able to hear me, Bill? All right, excellent. So this is the season. Usually, the November has rolled in, yet another year has gone by, and we are on the cusp of completing 2025. And but before I go ahead further, I welcome Tanel, Chitra, Ayush, Kurt. Thank you for joining. And in November is already here, which means Thanksgiving is around the corner. And Thanksgiving usually is a time to reflect, to feel grateful for, to appreciate things that we have. Vicky, Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. And so today's topic is around that portion. Is gratitude a feeling? Or is it a sentiment? Is it something that do I need to practice? Or perhaps some people who are very ambitious and driven might completely take it out of their dictionary, because if you're grateful, which means you become complacent. And once you become complacent, you will lose the drive, man. Just you got to be hard charged always. And gratitude can be like a weakness in some cases to kind of be grateful or show gratitude. But before I continue, I welcome Ari, Bhakti Rasa, Yasmin. Thank you all for joining. Mesa. Oh, it's amazing. Thank you. So today's topic, I think we can broadly discuss around these themes. On gratitude, gratitude both relevant to modern context and in spirituality, of course, is a little more clearer, but both the aspects we can discuss and where we land on that sense. So gratitude is something that we are grateful for. Yes, I just want to kind of ask the viewers to type in the chat or unmute and kind of say to me, like, what is gratitude mean to you? You can just unmute and then we can talk about it a little bit, because that will be like a good starting point. What does being grateful mean? Or even do you think we should be grateful? Any comments? Any 2-3 minutes? I'll just hold on before we continue. But that would be a nice way. What is your definition of gratitude? And Jay, maybe.
Nani says, uh, gratitude is acknowledging how much I have. Gratitude is acknowledging how much I have, regardless of how I feel.
Wow, that's so profound. So profound. Gratitude is acknowledging how much I have, regardless of how I feel. Amazing.
And we have Maisa, she says, being aware and aligned with everyone and everything.
Amazing. Wonderful. Right. Any others? Okay.
Sorry to chime in here. It's kind of related to like gratitude, and I feel like gratitude is kind of a way. Can the negative aspect is that you can essentially stay complacent. When Alexander invaded India, he ran into a Saudi there, and they were talking about values. And Alexander said he was like driven to conquer the world, and that's what they valued in the West. Men who are driven to do things. And if you're driven, you're kind of driven by a sense of restlessness. Restlessness is not really equate with gratitude much. And in India, the sadhu said, our values are the great man is the one who's given up the need to conquer the world. And I kind of correlate that with gratitude as well, which is complacent. And I think I read somewhere that India is the only country to never actually really invade a country outside its borders, which is kind of unique, I think, related to this. So I don't know. You asked for a comment. So I feel like gratitude is just a way of potentially a way of staying still, not moving forward, if I was to look at it in a negative way. And so yeah.
So, Kurt, I will actually implement the earlier comment that that was mentioned, that gratitude is what you have irrespective of how I feel. So Kurt, I'm really grateful that you talked about gratitude, even though much of it was muffled and we couldn't hear. But the last few sentences I heard was that gratitude means being still and staying complacent, and that can be taken as a negative way. So thank you for your comments. Thank you, truly. I mean, I'm so inspired that you are driving, biking, and then you just unmuted and turned on your camera. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right.
And Maxine says, gratitude is a way of recognizing the love of God.
Beautiful. Amazing. Yes, indeed.
And Bhakti Rasa says, gratitude is what we have for the mercy, and love is love in while in service of the Supreme.
Thank you, Bhakti Rasa. And with that, I welcome Sakala Subhaga as well. Thanks for joining. And Nama, I'm so grateful that you're here. Dennis, so nice to see you. All right. So, in today's talk, we can actually take gratitude on a few levels, and I was thinking that we can explore so that it gives a holistic perspective. We have been hearing that we are not these bodies, or rather, we are these bodies, but we are also the soul. So ours is a psychophysical package, if you will. Psychophysical in the sense physically we have a body, but then we have a mind and a heart that has feelings. We have intelligence, and we have Atma, or we are the spirit soul, which is unchanging and which is never perishes or never dies, even though the body can be subjected to severe changes. So, so let's examine gratitude on the level of body, and I will have a very interesting story to share. There was a very famous saint in India, and he was traveling from village to village. He was giving discourses and preaching the message of love of God. And in one of the villages that he went, he met a person, a very young man, and he was extremely depressed and despondent. And when the sadhu approached him and asked him, "What is your situation?" the young man mentioned, "My life is utter failure. I have no reason to live for. I, my parents recently died. I don't have much in the way of education. I don't have much in the way of prospects. I am unable to earn money, and living is extremely difficult. I don't see a reason why I should even live um, with all this situation." And the saint said to that young man, "Oh, see, money is your problem. No problems. I have, uh, I will, I'm traveling to the neighboring village tomorrow. Why don't you come with me? And I think I know a person who's very rich and who can give you money. Is that a good idea?" And the young man exclaimed, all excited, "Yes, yes, yes. Let me go. Let me actually find out what this is going on. And it seems to be like a good idea." And next day, the saint takes the young man to a village, to the neighboring village rather. And there is a discourse in the house of a very rich person. And that rich person happens to be a disciple and a well-wisher of that particular saint. And they have quite some conversation. And then the saint comes out to this young man and he says, my disciple has agreed to give you $100,000. And the young man is all excited. He said, but he says he will give you $100,000 for your two eyes. If you give him your two eyes, then he can give you $100,000. And he can give about five to $600,000 for your hands, a couple of another half a million for your legs, maybe three or 400 for your kidneys. You will be very, very rich. The young man is shocked. He says, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This is ridiculous." I said, "What will I, if I give away all my parts, and if then why do I live for?" Then the saint says, "You have a healthy body, and there is a lot of prospects that you can use, and you can be grateful that you have lungs that can take in air. You have eyes that can perfectly see, have a 20/20 vision. You have kidneys that are functioning well. You have a heart that is beating very well. So what is there to be despondent about? And even if you get money with having nothing in this, then why do we even want to live?" And the young man shook up. It woke him out of his stupor, saying that, "Yeah, why not? This is something that it was a revelation to him." So much of the things that we take for granted actually happen without our knowing. I want to know if anybody can raise the hand who can say that I don't need air to live. Please raise your hand. I don't think so. It's Krishna. He says in the Gita, in the fifth chapter, JM, if you can actually take a look at fifth chapter, I believe verses 26 and 27, or somewhere around that area. If you can just quickly show those verses, and somebody can read the translation. Yeah, 27 and 28. No, sorry. No, go up a little bit up. Shinvan's Prishan. Little bit up, please. Sorry. Little bit up more. My apologies. Where he says that, yes, the 9, text 9, please. Text 8 and 9. Somebody can
If
do
you
that.
would like to read, please raise your hand or unmute, and I think Dennis is back. Dennis or Vicky, yeah. Go ahead, Vicky.
Verses 8 to 9, right?
Yes, 8 and 9.
A person in the divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all, because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects, and that he is aloof from them.
Here is the thing, though. What we take for very serious thing, actually, Krishna is saying that these activities are going on their own. I mean, like I will pick on someone, and please don't blame me. I'll pick on Vicky. Why not? So how many, like if Vicky is concerned about her breathing all day long, my God, where am I entering into? Which room am I entering into? What is the pollen level there? What is the allergens that are there? And is the air of good temperature or less temperature? What happens if I don't breathe during my sleep? Does she ever think? No, breathing goes on so naturally and normally, we barely think about it. Yes or yes? And so as the other things of the body, that is, you eat food, and if I'll pick on Nilani. If Nilani is worrying all day long, oh, is my food getting digested? I don't know how much is it digested. I wish I had an app that tells me how much my food is digested, how much percentage. Is it 20%? Is it 30%? You don't talk about those things. And so these things happen so naturally that you take it for granted. Yet, if you don't have these things available, then we can barely survive. We barely can live. And these are gifts that are given by God that are kind of happening on a daily basis. So, in spite of all the doom and the gloom and the doom scrolling that people do these days, it's a term. Doom scrolling is a term. If you look it up, doom scrolling is a very unhealthy obsession of consuming things from internet that are very negative in nature, that can seriously impact one's health. And there is little wonder that people are so depressed, with the amount of doom scrolling that we have. But take heart from the fact that we still have free air, we still have water that is reasonably available, we still have freedom kind of to have. There is a lot to be grateful just on the matter or on the material level. And if you think that is something, we let me share a screen actually. And if you think that my life is tough, this was one of the things that I came across. Let me see that. Let me know if you can see the screen. So this is a personality that was a man in China. He suffered from a devastating accident where his half of his body was just severed from the rest of his body, and the doctor said there was no hope for him to live. Really, you don't have legs, you don't have your stomach, you have nothing. So it was initially, they said for almost 10 years he had to suffer because the, there was no medical precedent on how can you survive with half a body. And it seems because of his cheerful nature, he underwent a lot of surgery. He had to do custom design, a prosthetic, and he never gave up in terms of living because it's not easy. He had to have a operation done so that a pipe can be connected directly to his kidney for passing out urine, and so is the case for passing out his food either also. So then, but then he eventually he learned to live. It seems he goes out with his friends and he tries to learn music instrument. Later he opened a store, a discount store naming Half Man Half Price Store. Literally, it's a pun on his situation, but he never gave up vitality for living. So compared to people in the world, I think we have a lot to live for. We have a lot in terms of who we are and how we can be having everything in place to kind of take care of it. Reflections, questions, comments, concerns before we move on.
Can you mute and share your thoughts or type in the chat box?
Let me just paste that also in that if for those who might want to take a look at it, I'll just do it some of the time. So it profoundly touched me, actually.
I'll raise my hand. So when I meditate, I notice like I'm like breathing different. I don't know, maybe I got to do it for 10 more years before I can breathe normal. But I always notice like that as soon as I say, okay, now I'm going to quiet down, I'm going to meditate, then I change my breathing habits. And I just wondered if you could give any advice on that. And second, I like your background.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
Thank you. Thank you. So breathing has been an age-old technique and it's been an integral part of yoga. The main purpose of breathing is to control the turbulent mind. So in Gita, Krishna mentions that there are many forms of yoga. One is the yoga of work or karma yoga, where one performs one's duty and offers the results to God. There is the yoga of knowledge or transcendental knowledge, where one performs austerities and meditation and learns scriptures to realize one's own spiritual nature. Following that, there is the yoga of meditation or dhyana, where at one point of time, one goes to the forest or a very secluded place and then controls one's breathing process. And the whole idea of that breathing process is to control the mind, which is very turbulent. So it is a good practice, Denise, to practice breathing to kind of curb the mind. That is one way of actually doing things, and it's pretty authorized. And Krishna mentions that in Gita in the 6th chapter for those who really want to go deep into it. But the other thing would be that one takes to the path of bhakti or spirituality, while breathing process will help definitely, but it can become optional at that point of time. What is compulsory in one discipline of yoga to discipline the mind can be an optional thing in another path. So based on one's path, breathing can become really important. And it's a good point, Denise. Did I answer your question, or was I?
Well, I mean, it when I'm not doing the Maha Mantra. So if I'm just doing a meditation, sitting still, I notice that I'm so aware of my breathing that it becomes changed.
Nice.
And then I think, okay, and I can't go back to relaxed breathing because I'm so aware of maybe quieting my mind or something like that. So I just notice it continuously.
In other words, you hear your breathing and hear your thoughts.
Yes, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Again, as I mentioned, breathing is a way to kind of enter into your thoughts. More often than not, the thoughts are so fleeting. Like, what was I thinking? Oh, that's something I was thinking. You see how those thoughts escape our own awareness, but breathing is a process to kind of enter into the thoughts and see what sort of thoughts the mind is generating. It's a good practice to do it, to be very introspective. Excellent point, Dennis.
Thank you.
There are a few which have come on the chat. Nina says, I'm grateful to the sun god for making the part of the world lit as nice, warm, and livable. If not, the earth would be in darkness and frozen. Metaphor for being in knowledge when sunny and frozen cold and darkness in ignorance.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you.
And Vicky says, I really value the lesson of gratitude as a testament to resilience.
Excellent. Thank you, Vicky.
Can I ask a question about gratitude?
Yes,
So there's all sorts of little booklets out there on gratitude or journals that you can keep on gratitude. But I haven't found the magic thing for me. Like I thank the angels a lot, but I was wondering if you had a little bit of and I missed the very first part because I was checking to see if I had jury duty yet tomorrow. But I was wondering if you could give us a little tip on maybe your favorite way for gratitude and anything that you do at a special time for thanks.
Thank you, Dennis. I think as I progress and maybe towards the end, I'll share that tip, because then I'll open up the whole spectrum of gratitude, and then probably you'll find your answer in that particular discussion, if that's okay with you. Mary, yeah, you raised your hand, please.
Yes, hi. I view gratitude as a conscious awareness of the positive in my life. And just like meditation, it must be trained so it becomes a habit. And I started I really wanted to focus on gratitude. And I started, now I have gratitude partners, and we have accountability every day. And it's been going on for 3 or 4 years now. And it's to me, it's just switching. When it becomes a habit, meditation, I can't imagine my life without it. But before, it's hard. You just have to put the work in. So, but it's more of a conscious awareness that comes through habit. So that's what I had to share.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you. That's truly profound. Other points, or can we just continue?
I think Mary Kay's hand was past. Yeah, I think we can continue. There is nothing else on the board.
Right. Thank you. So the part B is the emotional aspect of gratitude. There is the physical aspect, which is, again, going back to the wonderful statement made in the beginning about whatever I have, I'll be grateful in mind. So there is two aspects to gratitude. One is that the substance, the actual things that I possess, that is one thing I am gratitude for. And my own mind, that the feelings that they come about is something that can either help or derail that gratitude. Because the next portion is usually the physical aspect. Yes, I mean, okay, I have a car, I have a house, my family, probably my job, my second house, my rental property. whatever, or my clothes and so on and so forth. It's like gross physical things that usually the gratitude comes. The mind comes the second part, or the mental part of the gratitude is the feelings. The idea is that if one doesn't, mind usually causes the gratitude to go away, because mind has certain negative things that keep rising up. For example, there could be more, wanting more. And unfortunately, in a society where we are bombarded by ad tech, ad world, and billboards, and so on and so forth, that constantly remind people about how important it is to keep on purchasing, the mind then kind of derails this idea of gratitude by giving into, maybe I need more. Maybe I'm not satisfied with this particular relationship. Maybe that person has little more. You can see how there is the greed, the envy, and the selfish passions or illusion that if I get more, then I'll be happy. These things can actually derail, and mind has a big part to play in gratitude. And there is more than mind. There is above mind. There is something else we can talk further. But the idea that we can tell the mind how to overcome this tendencies of mind is something plays a big role in how grateful we can be. And the way we can work on this is, even if a person says, I don't believe in God or a higher power, but even if you study this world, even if you dispassionately look at this world, you will see that is necessarily a wealth a sign of happiness? Is necessarily a fame that can give happiness? And if that is true, then every wealthy person is happy, every famous person is happy, every powerful person is happy. But then what is causing anxieties in these persons? What is causing issues in these persons? If you can see that and experience your own self. In fact, in our scriptures, it is said that if you sufficiently study the world, then you can actually become your own guru, in the sense like you have experienced the world through the eyes of being very dispassionate and seeing the world as it is. Then you will be somewhat calm about it. And if you study the world saying that it doesn't matter how many toys you have, but then you have to leave everything when you go behind. When you leave this body, then you leave everything behind. So what came about this feverish search for running after different things, it did not yield much. So the question is, when you become your own mind's mentor to see this world, in a very dispassionate way, in a very calm way, in a very sustained way, if you observe, or maybe those people are, oh my God, those persons, how are they? Especially this comes about with a lot of these perceptions come about from movies and TV shows and so on and so forth, that depict the characters as, for example, drinking all the time and they're happy. My God, how are they doing it? Or they're having so many affairs and things seem to be okay, they're cool. But you can see how when you project it to the real life, you tell your mind, look, that is screen time, but reality is a little different. So there is, just by observing the world in a very dispassionate way, you still can have a bulwark against the mind that can run in a very erratic and uncontrolled fashion. But then that is difficult, really, really difficult, as Krishna mentions in Gita. So I will stop here, and I want to say, maybe you can chime in with one or two things on how you deal with these negative emotions that can derail one's gratitude. Just few thoughts, few observations, few things that you experienced or heard about. Any kind of thoughts or comments? Sam, all right.
Post into the chat, or you can unmute and share your thoughts.
All right. Okay, I'll continue. We can always interrupt.
Mary K.
Yes, Nama.
Nama, go ahead.
I was just thinking while we're waiting, I just want to welcome two of our members from Australia. I want to welcome back Mesa. She's here on the call, and
Yeah.
she's here in Melbourne. And we also have Tanel, who's joined for the first time in the Bhakti community sessions. So welcome, Tanel and Mesa.
Mesa, Tenel, a wholehearted happy welcome. Mesa, welcome back again. Tenel, if you're joining for the first time, we are thrilled to have you on board.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Thanks, Nam. I appreciate the link you sent me today. I'm very happy to be with you. Very grateful. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you now for the introduction and welcome, Lisa and Kanal. Any thoughts on how do you deal with emotions that might impact your gratitude? Good.
Mary Kay mentions nature and sound baths.
Oh yeah, nature and sound.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good actually. That's good.
Good now.
Yeah, something that came to my mind just now is I journal, and that helps me to just whatever it is, just to put it out there without thinking too much about it. Just put it out there and get it out of the system, and then I think that makes space for more positive perspective.
Thank you. That's amazing. That's true.
I was going to say something about living in California and Silicon Valley. So I live in a very 1,000 square foot condo, and it's small. And so then, I have everything I ever want in life. And but I noticed that if I bring something home, then I have to find a place to put it. And so then I don't want to have anything because I don't have any room to put anything. And so, I value books. So I have two huge book cases of books, and that's my thing. But I just don't have any room to put anything. And so even with buying groceries, I'll say to my husband, I'll send you a list on your phone and you go to the grocery store, because he'll buy exactly what's on the list and won't come home with anything else. Whereas if I go, I'll pick up this and that, and then I have to put it all away somewhere. So anyway, that's the joy of living in Silicon Valley. So not completely on the subject, but you did mention material things. So anyway.
Yeah, beautiful point. And then Yasmin always chimes in with a cheeky, there is always place for books, and I do agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Noelani said that I try to think simply in order to stay grateful. If I'm struggling with such negativity, I go back to the basics and look at my fridge full of food and say, thank you, Krishna. I also tend to remember where I am now is miles ahead of where I was years before. Self-reflecting on growth is helpful.
Beautiful. It's amazing. And we'll come to that. Sorry, go ahead. Please continue.
No, did you have... Okay. Tenel said, I'm grateful I remembered Krishna in this life. It took a long time and a big struggle from Maya. In the Western world, we have really no idea who he is. So I'm grateful for that all of the time.
Excellent. All excellent thoughts.
I just wanted to add what I heard from Vaish also. He says, you can't have entitlement is what makes you miserable instead of being grateful. And I thought once I think from Australia, somebody visited Canada when I was in Toronto, and they were shocked. You use this much water for your shower, whereas back in India and Australia, we really measure how like we have preset water taken before we go for shower, because like at least that's what I heard. So if you if you don't feel entitled, then you can stay in gratitude, is what Vaish said.
Excellent. Excellent.
Vicky, go ahead.
Thank you. I was also thinking, because we were talking about our Bhakti affirmations lately, the affirmation that Vice shares, I am superior to negative thoughts and low actions. And I certainly do still get affected by negative thoughts, but what's helpful is that each time it happens, I can kind of see in slow motion what would be different if I just focused on myself and what I need to do, being methodical yet dispassionate. So it gives me a chance to grow for next time.
Beautiful. Amazing. The third thing, or the third level of gratitude, is on the spiritual level. So one of the things that truly transcends, because we did discuss about various techniques to curb the mind and to push the mind back away from the negative paths that the mind can take that can derail the gratitude. In the process of the yoga process, which is the Bhakti yoga process, where we replace, or where we establish a relationship with Krishna, and as we come to know more about him, then we realize that he owns everything. Everything is his, everything belongs to him, everything is happening under his directions, which opens up both negative and positive thoughts. The positive thoughts is, at last there is somebody who's in control. There is somebody who's under whose vision things are running, which is great. But then usually the negative thoughts will come as, so why is God doing this? Why is it that I am the victim here? Why me? And what wrong did I do? And the whole idea is that the as a spirit soul, we've been traversing through so many bodies, and we have been faced with so many situations in life. Some we are aware, mostly we are unaware as far as the past goes. In the situation where we say that there is some superior personality, in this case, for those who believe in God and Krishna, is under Krishna, but under some superior direction, if the world is running, then I must be necessarily playing a small part, or getting my due according to how things of the past have happened. There is one example. It's a very beautiful story I want to share from one of our scriptures. It's very poignant and very moving. So there was, in the previous days, it did not matter whether you were a king's son or a priest's son or a businessman's son. Kids, when they were about 4 or 5, they would go to boarding school. Boarding school would be a wrong way, but it was a hermitage of a teacher where they would all study under the guidance of that teacher. There was no fees. They would be freely given the education, and for 15-20 years, when the education was completed, then the students would go back to their homes and pay some sort of token of appreciation to their teacher in most of the cases. So Krishna, when he was 5, when he was 11, or some other time, when he was 11, he and another friend of his, they studied under the same teacher. There are many stories that happen, but when they pass out of the school, Krishna becomes the king of Dwaraka, and he's a very royal prince, and he's having a lot of wives. And he goes on to enjoy opulence. Whereas his friend, who was the priest's son, he was poverty stricken. It is mentioned that he and his wife had barely any clothes. Their clothes were more holes than cloth itself. It was just a patchwork of things. They barely had anything to eat. And it is mentioned that the clothes were old, they were ragged, they were a little dirty. Because they couldn't eat much, the veins in this Brahmana's body were popping out of his body, and his rib cage was showing up. It was a very dire situation. His wife was very concerned. He told this Brahmana, his name was Sudama, and then his wife told Sudama, look, we are suffering uncontrollably here, and we are miserable. We have nothing to eat. So your friend Krishna, he's the king of Dwarka. He is a very powerful person. He has unlimited wealth. Why don't you go ask him something? He might give something that can help relieve us of this situation that we are in. Sudama was not very eager to go, but his wife insisted, and then he said, okay, I will go. What gift can we take him? I mean, I can't go empty-handed. So his wife actually begs some chipped rice from one of the neighbors, and that too is not of a good quality. When you beg from someone, they give the best and the most luxurious thing. No, they give whatever is available, and that was what happened here in this case. Nevertheless, this Sudama collected few of this chipped rice, barely a palmful of this chipped rice, and he set off to Sri Krishna in Dwarka. And it's a long story, but the gist of it is he arrived at Dwarka. He met Krishna, who received him with so much of love and affection. In fact, it is mentioned that he really treated him like a god, and he gave that kind of honor. The Supreme Lord Krishna treating his friend who was a Brahmana as a god. And he fed him. There was very comfortable quarters to stay, and he spent few days with his friend. They were reminiscing about their old days and how they were in tough situations and how they went through it, and they remembered all these times. And Sudama was utterly satisfied by Krishna when he gave so much of attention and love and affection towards him. Few days passed. And then, of course, Krishna asks Sudama, so what did you bring for me? And he forcibly takes the chipped rice and eats it. Few days passed. He gave him nice reception, hospitality. He didn't talk of any money. I mean, he knew that he indicated to Krishna that, he was poverty stricken, and it was very visible, very, very visible, because all the people in this Krishna's palace was grand. Every pillar was made of jewels and marbles, and there were latticed windows with beautiful aroma floating in through from the flowers in the nearby gardens. All the maid servants were dressed 100 times better than this guest, and they were all going about, and the goddess of fortune Rukmini was there herself, and everybody was like, who is this person? He looks so wretched and out of place. It's like you're going to with torn clothes, ragged looked, and with disheveled hair, you go to a White House invitation. People will naturally ask questions, yes or yes. Yeah, that was exactly the situation here. So then came time. Krishna said to Sudama, see you, thank you for coming. And Sudama was really confused and a little bit afraid because of the fact that he has to go and talk to his wife now. Because wife sent him with great hope saying that he'll get some money. But Krishna didn't give him any money. And but here was Sudama. He was saying, oh, how wonderful is Krishna. He didn't give money because he thought money will make me corrupt, make me puffed up and proud person. And maybe he was protecting. So you can see how on the level of gratitude that the acts of God are not taken as something that can be disrespectful towards him or resentment towards him. And this long story short, when Sudama goes back to his home, he goes back to his thatched hut is in a very bad condition, because when the rain comes, the rain would go through the roof because there were so many holes in the roof. So when he goes back, he can't find his hut wherever place it was in. Instead, there was a huge, magnificent palace. And out of that palace, some lady comes running towards him with so many maidservants decked. I was like, who is this lady? And, where is my humble abode? And he just squints his eyes and then rubs his eyes when that lady is none other than his wife, who's bedecked in gorgeous jewels and coming with so many maid servants. Look at this, all this opulence is given by God. The point of the story is not that Krishna, of course, will provide, but the attitude of Sudama of gratitude, saying that, maybe he didn't want to give this so that I can get puffed up or I can become wayward in my lifestyle. So when one establishes relationship with Krishna, then know for certain that Krishna promises, I will provide what you lack and preserve what you have. So it is his words, and sometimes they may come in ways that can be a little bit of different from what we see. But if that attitude that I'm submissive to God and He's my well-wisher and He will never do wrong, that is such a tremendous source of gratitude, because tough times will come, tough situations will come. But having that kind of grounded faith that everything belongs to God and everything is His, and my quota is what I am here for, that will give such a tremendous amount of relief. And you will say, yeah, that person has his quota. Me, I have my quota. I'm satisfied with my quota. If that person is satisfied or not, that's up to that person. Because at the end, you are just going to depart this world. Just like a person, if you go to the hotel, a person is having like an economy room versus a presidential suite, it doesn't really matter. At the end, you have to leave your room and that person has to leave their presidential suite. So if you have that attitude of seeing this world, that this is actually a hotel of God and I'm just a guest here, you'll be like, yeah, it's ups and downs will go. And then the next life, I will get the presidential suite and that person will be done. This world is constantly changing. It's like a merry-go-round. So in a sense, having that long-term commitment and faith to the practices of yoga or spirituality actually can have the long-term effect on our gratitude as well. Things will come tough, and sometimes you will blame God, but eventually you will be like, he's looking out for me and he knows what's best for me. So I have that kind of faith in him. That is the key to unlocking longing and lasting gratitude. Otherwise, mind can quickly derail. It can go one way or other, and then it can leave you dissatisfied. One last point I want to mention is that gratitude cannot be blind. It has to having certain discrimination as well. For example, if a person goes and robs and beats somebody, oh, I'm so grateful that he robbed somebody and beat somebody. That there is a certain discrimination that we use to make sure that gratitude is more internal, and sometimes we use our discrimination to see what we should be grateful for or what we should do to make sure that the other person is also remembering gratitude, but not in the way that it might be wholesome. So I will leave with more questions or comments before we go. And first thing and the foremost thing I should ask Dennis, did it answer the question that I promised, or did you have that question that we need to resolve?
I still had the question of
Yes, ma'am.
your special way of gratitude. I appreciate Mary Kay. She shared her way, and I like little tidbits or presents of different people explaining how they appreciate gratitude or what they do.
So one thing I will share my perspective. Under the normal course of one's action, let me tell a small story. If a judge has to punish a common prisoner, then he will go by, or she will go by the rule book that this is what, this is it. But when that criminal is a very close person to the friend or a follower of the judge, then they may give lighter sentence. And Krishna does promise that I will, when somebody turns their face towards me and worships me and serves me with love, then I will protect them. And part of the protection is that since I don't know the 100% of what I did in the past, I may not be able to tell what I am receiving now negatively. Is it 20 or 30%? So having that sense that I should be suffering more, but because of his grace, it is little minimum, that would actually help a lot. Because if Krishna is giving me 100% of what I did, then he's just a neutral observer rather than being my friend. But since I have established a relationship with him, then whatever he's doing might be 20, 30, 40. I don't know how much is the percentage of what I have done in the past. So he's helping me to purify. So that kind of keeps me grounded. Dennis, is that helpful for you?
Thank you.
All yours, Jim.
Marika, just raise your hand, please. Go ahead, Marika.
All right, real quick. To start out the gratitude, I just had to make it, I had to have an accountability partner to hold me accountable. But now I just realized, and it's so profound, that this meeting is on gratitude. I have not done it for the past 3 or 4 days. Just like when I missed my meditation, I don't like the way I feel. And this was just a huge reminder having this meeting. So I would say if somebody really wants to know how to get it started, just do it. Find someone that also wants to do it with you, hold them accountable, send it every day on your phone, and just maybe start with 30 days and say, at the end of 30 days, we're going to give ourselves a little reward. But I would just say if I miss it, I don't like the way I feel. So over time, it'll grow. It's just like working out. You just have to start somewhere. So anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful session.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks, Marika, and thanks so much, Shivas, for another engaging session. Yeah, we are time flies by. I really literally today time flew by. There's so many stories, so many engaging discussions, and I don't know how you pluck in so many stories. It was that makes it simple and very interactive as well. So I really enjoyed it. I hope others did as well. So thanks so much, and really looking forward to the next session. I can't wait as this time fly by. I hope time till next session flies by too.
Thank you, Jim. It has been my distinct pleasure to be amongst all of you, and I just can't wait to meet you all again soon.
Thank you. And if you're okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and usually we end off the session by you can unmute, you can raise your arms, and you can loudly say Hari Bol.
Haribol!
Haribol!